Hello everyone, I am back with a new video. Today I'm going to be making this koi pond terrarium. If you need a list of supplies, it will be listed in the description below. I've already made my koi pond base, which is shells, pebbles, and a couple of plastic plants. Today I'm using Sculpy in translucent, and I'm going to be kneading my clay and conditioning it so that it's pliable. I'm going to take a couple of the pieces and roll them into balls and just make sure that they're not too big for the size of the koi ponds. I'm going to make the basic shape of the fish, which is kind of like a tadpole shape. I have other videos where I've made koi ponds before. They were in vlogs. I will just link them onto the sides of this video. I'm going to use a small tool with a pointed end to make the mouths of the fish. I have a Scribe Tool that has a waffle effect or a fish scale effect on the handle, so I'm just going to use that to make the scales of the fish. You want to be using a softer polymer clay for this. If you're using a really hard clay like Fimo, it might be a little bit more difficult to make the texture appear. I'm going to quickly roll out a snake and cut tiny little pieces for the eyes. Attach those little eyeballs. Or these are kind of big actually. Attach those big eyeballs. I'm going to roll 4 tiny little balls and flatten them out, and these are going to be the fins. I got this tool from the Wilton cake decorating kit. I don't know what to call it, but this is what I've been using for the fins. If you find that your clay is sticking to your plastic tools, you can use the baby powder method. I'm going to pinch the fins slightly and then attach it to the fish. Here is your first little fishy. Hey yo, let me know what kind of tutorials you want to see, because I'm doing that thing. Bake your clay according to the instructions of the clay that you're using. If you're like me and use translucent a lot, it'll be really easy to tell when it is cured because you can see through it. I'm going to take some white acrylic paint and just give these fish a little bit of a wash. I'm like 5 minutes into this tutorial and I'm already bored of my own voice. small round brush and take a little bit of black acrylic paint and place it on the inside of the fish's mouths. To ensure the round shape of the eyes of the fish, place your brush end in a pile of black paint, and I'm done doing this voice, and then stick it onto your fish eyes so that it is a perfect little round dot. I'm using a mixture of orange and yellow acrylic paint to make these spots of the fish. You can look up pictures of fish patterns if you like. I have a couple patterns that I prefer doing, so I'm just going to do that. Since I'm doing 3 fish in the same koi pond, I want them all to be similar but a little bit different. So they're going to be the same colors but different patterns. After my fish are dried, I'm going to take some Stabilo pens and add a little bit of extra detail on them. I got these Stabilo pens from a friend of mine for my birthday, I think. I kind of cheated already and made the base of my terrarium. It's just basically white sand at the bottom, a coarser tan brown sand in the middle, and then some moss on top. I'm going to be using different kinds of greenery to decorate my terrarium. I have some succulents, these leafy bits, and then some more leafy bits. I also have these tiny little white flower bud thingies that I'm going to cut up and put in there too. So not specifically when making terrariums, whenever you're making any kind of floral arrangement, you want to make sure that you're constantly turning it around so that you're making it aesthetically pleasing on every single side. That's not just for floral arrangements, that's also for 3D work as well. I've also been putting my koi pond in there every once in a while just to make sure that it looks pretty on all sides and just that it's not getting too crowded. I'm pretty satisfied with the terrarium part, so we're going to get going to finish the koi pond part. I'm going to arrange my fish how I like them, so I'm doing 1 in the top part and 2 in the bottom. There are tons of ways to make the fish float in water, but the easiest way is to put a rock of similar color right underneath the fish so it looks like they're floating. I decided to add 2 little water sprays so it looks like a little fountain. I'm just using clear plastic and cutting up 2 little strips. Obviously, please be careful when using hot glue. This is the type of resin that I will be using. It's not the same kind of resin, but it's also called resin. I don't know, I like this one better. Most resins are 2 parts, and this one is 2 parts also, but I find that for whatever reason you can stir it as hard as you want, but there won't be bubbles, whereas with regular resin you have to stir very carefully, and even then you'll still get bubbles. So I don't know, I like this one. I'm actually dyeing my resin with food coloring. It's always worked for me, and I'm just dyeing it so that it's a little bit more blue. I'm going to add a couple of plastic leaves and then let this set for a couple of days. I was going to say hours, I meant days. A couple of days for it to set. Place your koi pond into the terrarium and then you're all done! This particular piece I will be selling at various shows in Winnipeg. If you live in Winnipeg and you wish to purchase this, please contact me on my Etsy. I will not be posting this on Etsy because of the delicate nature of it, but I will be selling this terrarium. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!